Alright, so in this video we are going to talk about the 30 Years' War, which can be kind of a complicated war, but I'm going to try to streamline it as much as possible. Now, the 30 Years' War started in the Holy Roman Empire, which we heard of in a previous chapter when we did the Protestant Reformation. Now, the Holy Roman Empire was ruled by the Habsburg family. They also ruled Spain. A different branch of the family ruled Spain at the same time. And the whole Roman Empire is a little complicated. So you had the whole empire, and in theory, the Habsburg family, the emperor, is in charge of all of it. But the empire is made up of many, many different kingdoms and even towns that operate as their own political unit. So it's really a complicated patchwork of kingdoms, as you can see in this map here, with Bohemia and Upper Palatine and Silesia and Moravia, and the Spanish Netherlands is part of the Holy Roman Empire, but it's also kind of controlled by Spain. And then you've got the Swiss Confederation in there as well. So it's complicated. It's a bit of a mess. And ever since the Peace of Augsburg, each prince, each ruler of a kingdom or territory had two religious options. They can pick from Catholicism or they could pick from Lutheranism. But after a few decades, that's not enough anymore, right? Because some of the princes want a third choice of Calvinism. It's a different flavor of Protestantism compared to Lutheranism. But the Peace of Augsburg said that's not an option, but they want it to be an option. On top of that, there's some political tension as well, because France, Spain, and the Holy Roman Empire, all three want to be the leader in Europe, the most powerful country. And you also have some upstart countries trying to make a name for themselves, like Denmark and Sweden, who are just looking for a chance to prove how awesome they are, basically, almost spoiling for a fight. So you've got this religious tension, right, with Calvinism not being recognized, this political tension with France, Spain, and the Holy Roman Empire vying for leadership. And then the spark that sets it all off is a piece of the Holy Roman Empire called Bohemia, and they're going to rebel against Habsburg authority. The easiest way to think of the 30 Years' War is like every single bar fight you've ever seen in any movie. Every bar fight in every movie always starts the same way. Guy A pushes guy B, right? It starts all simple, just two guys, guy A, guy B. Well, when guy A pushes guy B bumps into guy C, right? Guy C turns around and thinks it's guy D that did it. So guy C punches guy D. Well, then guy E, guy D's friend, sees it and jumps in. And so within, right, 30 seconds, the entire bar is at war. That's essentially the 30 Years' War. It starts off very small, very specifically, but by the end of it, most of Europe, most of the major European powers are going to get involved somehow. And what's crazy is when it starts, it's over religion. When it finishes, it's over politics. And so once again, it's going to start in Bohemia. See, Bohemia needed a new ruler, and their new ruler was supposed to be a guy named Ferdinand, who was a Habsburg. Now, that's a problem because Ferdinand was Catholic, and many in Bohemia were Protestant, and they didn't want a Catholic being in charge of them. They even expressed their displeasure by taking some of Ferdinand's representatives and throwing them out a second-story window, in which they then landed in the streets on a pile of manure. Right? So Ferdinand, as you can imagine, was none too pleased about this. And then the leadership of Bohemia, the nobility of Bohemia, elect their own Protestant leader. And then in a weird twist of history, eventually Ferdinand, Catholic Ferdinand, ends up becoming the emperor of the entire Holy Roman Empire and begins to persecute Bohemia for what it has done. And this sets it off, right? So originally it's the Holy Roman Empire, aka the Habsburg family, almost getting vengeance on Bohemia, but it doesn't stay that way because other kingdoms within the Holy Roman Empire who are Protestant rally around Bohemia, right, and want to defend Bohemia and the Protestants. Well, that causes the Catholic kingdoms of the Holy Roman Empire to rally around the Habsburgs. So two teams basically developed, the Catholic League versus the Protestant Union. So the Catholic pieces of the Holy Roman Empire form an alliance, and the Protestant pieces form an alliance, and they start to fight each other. But even then, it's still contained within the Holy Roman Empire. But then it gets worse, because all these other countries eventually get involved. Spain, Denmark, Sweden, and France all get involved. Spain gets involved because it is Catholic. You remember we talked about that with Philip II. To be Spanish was to be Catholic. Spain gets involved on the side of the Catholic League and the Habsburg royal family because the King of Spain is also a Habsburg. So not only is he helping his religion, Catholicism, he's helping his family, the Habsburgs, right? So now Spain is involved. Well, eventually Denmark throws its hat into the ring, and it gets involved as the protector of the Protestants in the Holy Roman Empire, but also because it wants to get territory. This ends up being a really bad idea for Denmark, and they lose. Well, then the brand new country, Protestant country of Sweden, led by a guy named Gustavus Adolphus, how's that for a name, gets involved after Denmark bails out, and it presents itself as the defender of the Protestants inside the Holy Roman Empire. And at first it has a lot of success because Gustavus Adolphus is an excellent military leader, but then he dies in battle, and Sweden proceeds to get its tuchus kicked, and then it has to bail. And then after that, Catholic France gets involved by the end of the war, but not on the side of the Catholics. France was a Catholic nation, but it does not support the Catholic League, it supports the Protestant Union. It had been doing so for years, secret hush-hush style on the down low, by funding countries like Sweden and Denmark and the Protestant Union. Now the reason why Catholic France would help the Protestants of the Holy Roman Empire fight against the Catholic Habsburg family is pure politics. It started because of religion. It ends because of politics. See, Catholic France has the misfortune of being stuck in between Spanish Habsburgs and the Habsburgs of the Holy Roman Empire, and France is stuck in the middle. So it's surrounded on both sides by political rivals. Yes, they're all Catholics, true, but they're political rivals. So France sees the 30 Years' War as a chance to weaken the Habsburgs, to weaken the Holy Roman Empire. That's why Catholic France ends up helping the Protestants in the 30 Years' War. So eventually all sides basically fight themselves out, right? They just get so tired, and they agree to a peace called the Peace of Westphalia. And so to review, the causes of the 30 Years' War was Calvinism was not recognized. France, Spain, and the Holy Roman Empire all want European leadership, and then Bohemia rebels against Habsburg authority. Now, the effect of the war is the German states inside the Holy Roman Empire get to determine their own religion, including Calvinism, right? They now have that third choice. The Holy Roman Empire itself ends as a political unit. Like, if you looked at a map after this, there would still be an area labeled Holy Roman Empire. But each kingdom inside the empire basically did whatever it wanted. They had their own armies now. They had their own taxes. They could even make their own treaties with different countries. So you might have one kingdom in the Holy Roman Empire have a treaty with France, and another kingdom have a treaty with Spain, and another one have a treaty with England. Basically, right, each kingdom did whatever it wanted, right? That's why a philosopher we'll learn later on in the school year called Voltaire said the Holy Roman Empire was neither holy nor an empire at this point. And then major contenders gain new territory, but most importantly, France comes out the political winner in this. For the next century, or almost century and a half, France is going to be the dominant power in continental Europe, the main power in continental Europe, the trendsetter in politics, in art, in religion, in philosophy. They are going to dominate. So Catholic France helping the Protestants for political reasons really paid off for France. But this war was a disaster for the Holy Roman Empire. Another effect, though, that I didn't put on the chart is this is pretty much the last great religious war in Europe. Catholics and Protestants are going to stop killing each other at this point. They're still not always going to like each other, but they're not going to be at war with each other. Like you saw in France with the French Wars of Religion, like you just saw in the 30 Years' War, like when you saw when Philip II of Spain tried to invade Protestant England. That's pretty much done. From now on, the Europeans are going to kill each other for other reasons, like politics and money and territory, but not necessarily because of religion.